You only ever know. Y'all the main ones I'm watching on my throne. Created everything, but I called you my own. That land I gave you, put my name in it, my home. Yeah, that's my home. Israel, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. I made a promise, can't nobody take it. I chose to put you above all the nations. Out of your grace, I chose to awaken. We made a covenant, don't you forsake it. Come get protected while they going crazy. Israel, my firstborn, my baby. Israel, my firstborn, my baby. I woke you up in your land of captivity. I do not change, I want you to remember me. Laws and commandments, I gave you the remedy. Go read the testimonies for your memory. I sent them prophets, but you wasn't hearing me. I come to you if you really come near to me. I heard your cry, now it's time to take it to me. I'm the one got you from all of your enemies. Who you know open the sea. Them waters was bitter, but I made it sweet. Case you ain't know how to swim, I'm your protector, so I made you walk on your feet. This a reminder you married to me. I just want you to be all I called you to be. They called you niggas, but I made you priests. I'm about to give you back everything. I'm sending plays for you. I'm sending boys drying up rivers. I leave them dead for you. Tell Pharaoh let my people go. You heard what I said for you. Tell Pharaoh let my people go. You heard what I said for you. For you, you only ever know. Y'all the main ones I'm watching on my throne. Created everything, but I called you my own. That land I gave you, put my name in it, my home. Yeah, that's my home. Israel. I'm the reason you in captivity. We made a covenant, you ain't remember me. You broke the covenant, I sent your enemy. Get out my land since you was inferior. I'm the reason they put you in chains. I'm the reason they switched up your name. I'm the reason why you in the hood. I'm the reason of all your pain. I'm sending flows fast, daily. Think I don't love you. Y'all my babies. Gave my son, must be crazy. Come on, that system, come out of that leg. They got that military, it would not phase me. It would not move me, it would not graze me. Remember Egypt, I did all that for my people. You only ever know. Y'all the main ones I'm watching on my throne. Created everything, but I called you my own. That land I gave you, put my name in it, my home. Yeah, that's my home. You only ever know. Y'all the main ones I'm watching on my throne. Created everything, but I called you my own. That land I gave you, put my name in it, my home. Yeah, that's my home. Israel.
Good morning, Facebook Live. Good morning, YouTube with Orlando, keeping it simple. How's everybody doing this morning? I hope that the Most High have truly blessed you over and abundantly with love, kindness, and joy. I hope the Most High have really truly blessed you with wisdom and knowledge and understanding. I hope the Most High really have truly blessed you over and abundantly with love, kindness, and joy. I hope He blessed your offsprings, and I also hope He just blessed them with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That's what I hope He has. I hope your week has been a great week. I hope it really truly has been. As for my week, it's been an okay week. I can't complain too much. It could have been worse, it could have been better, but I ain't complaining. I'm happy wherever it's at. There's a lot going on in the world today. I hope everyone has been looking and paying attention to what's going on in the world, and I hope that the Most High is really showing you everything that's happening. But let us go ahead and get started this morning on Exodus chapter 20, verses 1 through 17. And it reads, and God spake all these words, saying, I am Yahuwah thy El, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. And thou shalt have no other Els before me, and thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heavens above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, Yahuwah thy El, am a jealous El, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of Yahuwah thy El in vain, for Yahuwah will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yahuwah thy El. In it thou shalt not do any works, thou, nor thy sons, nor thy daughter, thy manservants, nor thy maidservants, nor thy cattle, nor thy strangers that is within thy gates. For in 6 days Yahuwah made the heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore, if Yahuwah bless the Sabbath day and hallowed it, honor thy fathers and thy mothers, that thy days be long upon the land which Yahuwah thy El giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbors, and thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. So let us pray this morning. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us of our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine to your kingdom, power to your glory, forever and ever. So let it be. Good morning, Breaking Strongholds Ministries. Good morning, Facebook Live. Good morning, YouTube with Orlando, keeping it simple. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. If you could turn to the word of the Most High to Matthew chapter 25. Matthew chapter 25. Matthew chapter 25, verses 32, 31 through 46. 31 through 46. And the key verse is verse 32. The key verse is verse 32. Verse 32. And I'm going to read it. And I'm basically going to I probably read the whole thing today. I'm just going to read the whole thing. No, I deal with it. But I'm going to basically deal with verse 32. Okay? And it says, before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goat. Let me read that over. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. Okay? If I may give a title of the text today, the title of the text today is The Great Separation. The Great Separation. And I'm going to give you one word today. One word. Separation is a 14th century word. It means severings, detaching, or cutting apart. Act of removing or disconnecting one thing from another. That's from the Etymology Dictionary. It says a severing, a detaching, cutting apart. Act of removing or disconnecting one thing from another. A specific sense of sundering of a marriage couple. Limited divorce. Also from the 1828 dictionary, it means to disunite, to divide, to sever, to apart in almost any manner, either things naturally or casually joined. The parts of a solid substance may be separate by breaking, cutting, splitting, or by fusions. To set apart from a number of a particular service. As Saul was consenting unto death, and at the time there was a great persecution against the church which was at Jerusalem, and they were all scattered abroad, the region of Judea, Samaria, except the apostles. The word separation just means to divide, to cut off, to sever, to disunite. And what we see going on in the world today, this is the beginning of the separation. This is the beginning of the separation. But I want to give you a little backstory of chapter 25, because we got to understand that Yeshua was talking to his disciples in chapter 24 about the end time prophecy and telling them what was going to happen. Chapter 24 was a double prophecy. It was a double prophecy of 70 AD when the Roman Empire went in and came in and destroyed Jerusalem. And the people would have to leave because the Roman Empire came in and took over Jerusalem and destroyed it. But it also was a prophecy for the future of the conquering of Babylon at the end times. How you would have to leave and go into the wilderness for 3.5 years because of the persecution that would come onto Babylon in the end times. So chapter 24 was a double prophecy. It was talking about 70 AD, but it was talking about a future event. But it was also talking to you about what you would need to do, how you would need to do things in order for you to be saved during the time of persecutions. So that's what Yeshua was talking to his people about, his disciples about, and what was going to take place. Because they was asking questions about what's going to take place, what's going to happen, how we know. And he told them all those things, what would happen and what would be. But then what was so significant at the bottom of 24, at the bottom of chapter 24, Yahshua talked about no one knows the day nor the hour, right? He was telling everyone, don't nobody know the day nor the hour that this conflict was going to happen. So he was telling you at this point in time, you always got to be ready. This is the Bible, the Biblio is so set up to, it gives you like a step-by-step process to what's going to happen. It's like it flows very well. The process of the Bible flows very well so that you can understand the events. It's not set up in timeline. It's set up in chronological order in which how they wanted it to be set up so that you can get a clear picture. Because the writings of Paul came before Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John. All the writings of Paul came before Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John. So they couldn't necessarily put Paul writing before Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John. So how they designed it was very strategic and smart. But when we're looking at no one knows the day nor the hour, it was so funny. He said that he put that at the end of him giving you the tribulations of what was going to happen and how things was going to be on the earth. They put that in there very well because he wanted you to understand that, yes, these things was going to happen. But then he said, I can't tell you when it's going to happen, but you know it's going to happen. So that's why he put that at the end of Matthew chapter 24. So when you look at Matthew chapter 24, I'm just going to read verses 46 through 51. It says, blessed is the servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. Meaning that when the Most High come back to the earth, and he come to bring judgment on the earth, he's going to find you doing the things that you need to do in order for you to be able to have protection, to have salvation, to have the victory. It says, blessed is that servant whom his Lord, when he cometh, shall find so doing. And verily I say unto you that he shall make him ruler over all his goods. Because this is talking about the this was talking about, is it about the talents? No. This was just talking about your actions. It was talking about what you're supposed to be doing. That's why it was talking about the two people at the grinding mill. It was just talking about people's behaviors. How your behavior will be at the time of Christ coming back, or the Messiah coming back. Then it says in verse 47, but, and if that evil servant shall say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming. Listen to that. Because a lot of the times, people don't think that the Most High is coming back, so they're going to delay being righteous. They're going to delay not doing the will of the Most High because they don't feel like he's on his way back. And because they feel like he's not on his way back, they're going to feel like they can do whatever they want to do, how they want to do it, in the way they want to do it, because they don't feel like he's coming. Even though he has given them signs. All in Matthew chapter 24 through to verse 24 to verse 35 was all signs and wonders on what you should be looking for. So that means that when you see these signs and wonders in chapter 24, 1 through 35, when you see those signs and wonders, that means that you need to be getting your act together. That means that you need to be getting your life together, because once you start to see these signs and you have read the word, you'll understand that, hey, the Most High is on his way back, so I need to be doing his will. I need to be doing his will. But if I'm not doing his will, I'm going to get caught up. The reason why I'm not going to be doing his will, because I don't think he's coming back, so I ain't going to worry about it. That's what verse 46, that's what verses 48 is talking about. He said, but if that evil servant, listen to that, he said, but if that evil servant shall say in his mind, my Lord delayeth his coming, meaning that he's saying in his heart, man, he ain't coming right now, I ain't worrying about that. I can continue to do whatever I want to do, how I want to do it, and the way I want to do it. That's the evil servant thought process. Is, I got plenty of time to get my life together. In reality, he already done told you 1 through 35 that you really don't have time to get your life together because you see those signs and wonders in front of you. And it behooves you, if you see the signs and wonders and you decide not to try to get your life together, your life is going to be cut short. So in verse 49 it says, and shall begin to smite his fellow servants. This is the actions of the evil servant. The evil servant shall begin to smite his fellow servants, to eat and drink with the drunken. And the Lord of that servant shall come in a day when he looketh not for him, and in an hour that he is not aware of. See, when a person say that, even though they see all these things coming up on the earth, even though they see all this stuff in the earth today, only an evil person would say in their minds that the Most High ain't coming back. That's what Scripture is saying. Because they feel like they have plenty more time to get themselves together. So they're going to continue to live the life that they want to live, regardless of what they see. They're going to do what they want to do. And that's the most tragic part about it, is that I like TikTok, but I don't like TikTok. And what you see out here today, is a great cry for the people. You see a great cry for the people because people whose fish scales, whose eyes have been, who's seeing what's going on in the world, they're making a cry to those who may not see what's going on in the world today. They're making a cry to them so that those people who may not be able to see can see, so that they can get their life together, so that they won't get caught up. Because the Most High have allowed certain people to see what's going on in the world. And He also have given them people the vision to see other people's life and how they're living, and what they're doing and what they need to do in order to be able to be protected during the time of tribulations. But some of those people may not want to take heed to what has been said and what has been done, because they feel like they got plenty of time to get their life in order. In reality, you really don't, because He's telling you, no one knows the day nor the hour. So when you feel like you got plenty of time and you can do whatever you want to do, how you want to do it, you're going to continue to do it. And that's going to put you in that trouble. That's going to get you in that trouble that you don't want to be in. And that's what people are going to that's what people are going to be dealing with, is because they are seeing things and doing things that they are continue to do things because they have plenty of time. So now when we go to chapter 25, it's talking about the 10 virgins, and He's giving all these are parables. He's trying to relate to them on their life. He's giving, this is a parable about 10 virgins. The 5 virgins had the oils in their lamps. And it says in verse 2 and 3, this is the difference between people who can see the writing on the wall and people who can't see the writing on the wall. People who can see the writing on the wall is going to be in verse 2. And it says, and the 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. And they which were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them. Understanding that if you know that the Messiah is on His way, you have to be prepared for His coming. And the reason why most people are not prepared for His coming in 10 versions is basically talking about they don't believe that he's coming. The parable of the 10 virgins is all about their belief system and how they want to believe. And this is what he's trying to convey to his disciples is, hey man, it's going to be some times that in 70 AD that's going to happen to you all where it's going to bring a lot of afflictions, and I just gave you the warnings, and if you don't take heed to my warnings, you're going to die off. And the reason why they're going to die is not because they didn't have the abilities to be saved, it's because they didn't believe. The 5 virgins was all about their stupidity and not taking heed to the word. The 5 wise virgins, they took heed, they understood because of what happened in Matthew chapter 24. They understood the signs, and then it also told them, ye be ready at all times. So when they understood that, that's why they always, wherever they went, they probably took their lamp and with oil, because they wanted to be ready for that. They wanted to be ready at all times for the events to come in the world. So when you go down to the next one, when you go down to verses 14 through 30, it's talking about your abilities. What are you doing in the time? What are you doing right now to be able to be saved? Are you doing your purpose? Are you doing what you designed to do? See, you can't just have faith. You got to have works as well. And this is what chapter 25 is about. You got to have your belief system along with your actions. Both of them got to come together to be able to make you to be able to be saved. If you don't have a belief system in the word, but you're trying to, and you're definitely not going to do what the word say do. Because the mind leads the body. Your mind leads the body. You don't, whatever the mind tells the body to do, that's what the body going to do. The body is the head, the brain is the computer is the membrane, is the everything for you. Whatever is in your noggin, so as a man thinketh, so is he. Whatever is in here, that's what you're going to do. Whatever you believe in your mind, that's what you're going to do. So, when it's talking about the 10 virgins, 5 was wise, 5 was dumb. That comes from the mental aspect. So if you're not wise in the word, you're not going to use your talents to benefit the Most High. You're going to use your talents to benefit the world. That's why it's talking about talents. He said, the more you do the will of the Father, the more you will increase in whatever you have. The less you do the will of the Father, the less you will be blessed. That's what it's talking about. So now when you get down to verse 31, it's talking about, yes, I gave you the signs in 24. I told you always be ready, because when you're ready, because when you see the signs, that means that you get physically and spiritually ready for what's to come. Then chapter 25, he gave you examples of people who will be ready, people who will not be ready. And the reason why they won't be ready, because they don't believe. The reason why they won't make it, because they're not doing the actions. So now we're down here at the great separation of everything, because the Most High really is tired of the mingling of the goats and the sheep, or the sheeps and the goats. He's tired because the goats are hindering the sheeps, and the sheeps and the goats are not listening to the sheeps. The wicked gonna do what the wicked gonna do, and they're not going to listen to the righteous, and the righteous cannot tell the wicked nothing. So it's like, that's why I hate to listen to TikTok, because a lot of the times lot of people out there trying to save people. It's a lot of people out there trying to help people do the right thing. It's a lot of people out here trying to give them wise counsel on how to be. But a lot of people are not taking heed. A lot of people are not taking heed to what's actually taking place. Because the people who's giving advice see the destruction upon that person, but the person can't even see what they're actually doing in reality. Because they're such in a delusional state, they can't see what's actually taking place. So that's why they do what they do. It's like in the last week or so, student loans have been, the Supreme Court did not pass the law where student loans can be forgiven. Okay? Affirmative actions, entry into colleges have been shot down. And a lot of people like that. Okay? Roe v. Wade was shot down about abortions. A lot of people feel like I have the right to abort babies. And the Supreme Court is saying it is against the law. Also, businesses now can discriminate against people because of whatever their belief system is. It is a lot of people are starting to write to push themselves away from other people because of their thought process, because of their religious belief, because of their nationality, because of a lot of things. And the Most High is really starting to separate the wheat from the tares and the sheep from the goats. And the reason why he's separating them is because of their belief systems and because of their behaviors. It's like in Genesis chapter 2 verse 23 it says, and Adam said, this is now bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall become one flesh. A lot of divorces are taking place because one person believes one thing and another person believes another. They did not come together as a unit to be able to say, we are together, so let us live together and become one spirit. Even though you're two different people with two different personalities, but you have to have one spirit. So now, even when you look at the human body, the life of a human, we should all, if we believing in this word, we should have one mindset, one mind thought process, righteousness. Doing what's right at all times. But because if we don't have that one thought process of doing what's right, the Most High got to separate the people, because right now he's getting ready to bring on purification. He's bringing on cleansing. It's a lot of stuff going on in the world today. It's a lot of stuff going on today. But let us read verse 31, because I just gave you a whole backstory of stuff, information, and I wanted you to understand why the separation is mandatory. The separation is mandatory because of a belief system and a behavior practice. The Most High is tired of what's going on in the world, and He got to separate the people. And black folks, you should not be mad because of affirmative action has been struck down, because you have businesses that you can support, you got universities that you can support, you have your own churches that you can support. You should not be mad about affirmative action being taken down. You can go eat it. You got plenty of black restaurants that you can go to. You got HBCU colleges that you can go to. Take all your black athletes out of the PWOs and put them into black universities, and then you'll have your own affirmative action. Quit depending on somebody else to do something for you when you can do it yourself. That's what the talents is about. If you want to become rich, utilize what you have as American black people and put all your athletes and all your black students in HBCUs and see the dynamics change. Support your black businesses and see them grow. Participate in organized communities that support your communities and watch and see what happens. That's what the 5 talents is about. You having faith in what the Most High have given you, and you use it to the best of your abilities to increase it. If you're tired of how Wells Fargo, Bank of America is doing you, go to Capital Trust over in West End. Go to a black bank. Put your money in a black bank. And see the money grow. See the banks grow. If you're afraid of affirmative action failing. But let us go to verse 31. It says, when the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divided his sheep from the goats. And he shall seat the sheep on the right hand, but the goats on the left. He's going to sit them down there, and he's going to separate them. And right now it's a great separation, because people are starting to see people's behaviors and not liking it. And this is all the Most High's actions. And then it reads, and then shall the King say unto them on the right hand, come ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and ye gave me meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me in. Naked, and ye clothed me. I was sick, and ye visited me. I was in prison, and ye came unto me. These are actions that the righteous did to the least of these in the world. See, you're not just gonna be blessed or Barak because of your thoughts. You're gonna be blessed because of what you do in this world. See, I can give money to people who can give it back to me, and I ain't gotta really worry about nothing. But give something to people who can't give back to you. That's what really matters the most. Give people stuff who can't give back to you. That really is testing the heart. Because sometimes you think because you give something to people, it's all well fine and dandy. But you're going to give it to somebody who you know can give back to you. I'm going to let you borrow it, man, but I want my money back. No, you give it and don't worry about it. If you can't give it, tell them no. If you can't give it and not look for it back, don't give it. Because it tests your heart. It tests your mind at that time. And then it says in verse 37, then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee an hungry, and fed thee, or thirsty, and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger, and took thee in, or naked, and clothed thee? Or when saw we thee sick, or in prison, and came unto thee? Listen to his answer. When the king shall answer and say unto them, verily I say unto you, insomuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these, my brethren, ye have done it unto me. He's telling you your actions means a lot on the earth. What you do on this earth at this point in time means more than ever before. You can't be a selfish person and think that you're going to make it into the shimmy yams. You can't think that it's only me, and think that you're going to make it into the shimmy yams. And see, that's why most 95% of relationships fail is because of selfishness. It's not just from a marital standpoint. It's not from a friendship standpoint. It's not just from on a job standpoint. It's all over. When one person has a mentality that is all about me and no one else, that's when the relationship fails. Even your relationship with the Most High. If you feel like the Most High should just be doing everything for you and you don't do nothing for the Most High, that's when the relationship falls. Because I want you to understand something. This is 2 Chronicles 7:14. This is one of my first verses. Best verses. One of the verses I like the most, but I'm going to go to verse 13 first. It says, if I shut up heaven that there be no rain, or if I command the locusts to devour the land, or if I send pestilence among my people. Listen to this. Nothing about the Most High is selfishness. It says, if my people which are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked way, then will I hear from heaven and will forgive their sins and will heal their land. Now my eyes shall be open and my ears attend unto the prayer that is made into this place. See, the Most High is telling you, your blessings don't come just because of who you are. Your blessings come because of what you do. What you do for Him and for other people. You have to be a very humble person in this process. You got to be a very humble person in this walk. You can't think that the world revolves around you and you the bomb diggity of the bomb diggity. Because then that make the other person feel like they less than. They don't have no value. They don't have nothing. Because you're putting yourself at the forefront of everything. You're pushing that other person back. As if they don't have no value at all. So, when you're looking at people who are going to make it or being separated, this great separation, you're going to be separated because of your actions and your thought process. Them refusing customers, they're going to refuse customers because of how they look, or how they act, or how they dress, and because of their religious beliefs. That is a separation. Them not allowing people to come into certain institutions because of quote-unquote race-based, that's a rejection because you don't look like I look. You don't act like I act. You didn't come up like I came up. That is a great separation because you're only thinking about yourself. Also, the forgiveness of student loan. Oh, because I had to pay, you got to pay. But not looking at everybody's situation is different. It's a great separation going on. Then 40 verse, let's go back to Matthew chapter 25, verse 41. It says, then shall he say also unto the, because, hold on, let's go back to something. The separation is because of people's actions, right? The separation in the physical form is because of people's actions and their physical and spiritual beliefs. People cannot go to a university now and probably won't be admitted into a university because of their conditions, financial conditions. It says, I was a stranger and ye took me in, naked and ye clothed me. I was sick and ye visited me. I was in prison and you came to visit me. Those are people's conditions. The righteous will look after people's conditions, understand people's conditions, and help them along the way. But the wicked, let's see what the wicked will do. Verse 41. Then shall he say also unto them on the left hand, depart from me, ye cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels. Listen, for I was hungry, and ye gave me no meat. I was thirsty, and ye gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and ye took me not in. Naked, and ye clothed me not. Sick and in prison, and ye visit me not. Then shall they also answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee in hungry, or athirst, or a stranger, or naked, or clothed, or sick, or in prison, and did not minister unto thee? Then shall he answer them, saying, verily I say unto you, insomuch as ye did it not to one of the least of these, ye did it not to me. See, his most emphasis is on the least. On the least. Meaning that the people who did not have the abilities to do the things that they need to do, because they didn't have the abilities to take care of themselves in the way that they needed to take care of themselves, because you didn't help them, that's why you're going to be rejected. And see, I know some people decided to make a decision to be a part of the LGBTQ community, but a lot of them didn't choose it. A lot of them was molested when they was young, and we haven't addressed that issue. A lot of them was beaten. A lot of them was raped. A lot of them went through a lot of hardships in the process of life. A lot of them was rejected, and the only people that accepted them was that community. So when we try to refuse customers because of their orientation, not trying to research and give them love and try to help them to understand whatever it is, and just build that relationship with them, and you're casting, and cause we consider the LGBTQ community the least of these. I understand that some people are pushing the envelope, but what I'm also saying, the ones that are not pushing the envelope and accepting reality for what it is and dealing with it, if we're not trying to help those, we're going to be more at fault than anything else. Even with the affirmative action, these Asians who Black Americans support, Black Americans support Asian communities by going to their nail salons, their manicures and their pedicures. They go buy the weaves, they go buy the hair products from them. You go to their restaurants. And these are the main people who push that rule against you going to Harvard University or whatever. They say that they really actually dislike your personality and say that you need to pull yourself up by the bootstrap. But you support them in all aspects. Now the Most High going to look at them and say, even though they supported you, you did not support them. Even though you still, even to this day, some of you still going to go to their nail salon and their foot parlors and their beauty shops, they food, their restaurants, and not even understand that these people sued that you should not have affirmative action. But it's the Most High's doing because He wants you, Black Americans, to go to your own HBCU schools. But He's revealing to you the personalities of the people in your society. He's trying to get you to understand that there's a great separation coming, but you cannot accept it because you still don't think that what you see is what you see. Let's go back to verse 32. Because Most High is only going to deal with the righteous because of how they treated people. The government know that you ain't going to be able to pay them student loans back. And they know the only poor people took out student loans. Poor people took out all that debt to be able to get into the colleges because they wanted education, because they was trying to better themselves. The government knows this, and they're not going to do anything to help them. So now the government is continuing to keep the people in debt. But they set this up so that you can be in debt because they put crack in your community. They did so much stuff to our communities to put us in the situation that we're in. But He gave us universities. We got to go to our own universities and be accepted and be comfortable. Let us go back to verse 32 for a second. Because I want us to understand something. What you see going on is the Most High doing. If you have whatever relationship problems you have in your life, the Most High is trying to separate it or correct it. Depends on how you want to see it. You got to understand that this is the Most High's doing. Okay? Let us go to Acts chapter 12. Acts chapter 17. Verses 30 and 31. Because you got to understand, He's trying to separate the good from the bad right now. He's trying to separate the good from the bad. And he's separating the good from the bad because the way the good think is not the same as the bad. The way the people who... He's also separating them because one person's action is not the same as the other person's action. He's trying to get everybody on one accord. In Acts 7, chapter 17, verse 30 and 31, it says, "In the times of this ignorance God winked at, but now command all men everywhere to repent." Now the Most High is asking everybody to repent and correct themselves before the great separation happens. It says, because he has appointed a day in the which he will judge the world in righteousness by that man whom he has ordained, whereof he has given assurance unto all men, in that he has raised him from the dead. Verse 32, "And when they heard of the resurrection of the dead, some mocked, and others said, We will hear thee again of this matter." See, we got to understand that right now, at this point in time, the energy and the spirit that you see on the earth today is appointed by the Most High. And see, a lot of times you got to allow people to separate themselves from you because they may not be on the same music as you. Let us go to 2 Corinthians. That may be hard physically, but it's good spiritually. Let us go to verse 9 and 10 in 2 Corinthians chapter 5. Because we got to understand that the Most High is doing this. The Most High is doing this. It says, "Wherefore we labor that whether present or absent, we may be accepted of him. For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, that everyone may receive the things done in his body, according to that he has done, whether it be good or bad." Understanding that this is the separation that the Most High is going to take us through. It's like this actress Keke Palmer. She disrespected her husband. If you see that she's doing something wicked stuff and disrespectful stuff in front of her husband, separate yourself from her and don't attach yourself to her. Anytime you see somebody that's doing something disrespectful to their mates or to themselves, just detach yourself from them. Don't allow that spirit to come on you. Let's go to Revelations. Because we got to understand that the Most High is doing this separation now. It's going to be hard, but he's doing it. Because we feel like, it's like, I don't want to, but you got to, for your salvation. It says in Revelation chapter 20 verse 12, it says, "I saw the dead, small, great, stand before God. And the books were open, and another book was open, which is the book of life, and the dead was judged out of those things which were written in the books according to their works." According to their works. That's why the separation is according to what you do, not what you think. According to their works. "And the dead gave up and the sea gave up the dead which were in it, and the death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them. And they were judged of every man according to their works." See, that's what the great separation is about, according to your actions. According to what you do, that's why there's a great separation. That's why they're doing the affirmative action. That's why they're doing the refusal of the businesses. That's why they're refusing to forgive the loans. According to their works, according to your works. and death and hell were cast into the lake of fire in the second death. And whosoever was not written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. Why? According to their works. Let's go to Ezekiel. Ezekiel chapter 20, verses 37 and 38. So now we understand that the Most High is doing the separation. Now let us look at Ezekiel 37 and 38, 39. Just listen to this. It said, I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bonds of the covenant. Listen to this. I will separate out from among you the rebels, and them that transgress against me. I will bring them forth out of the countries where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel, and ye shall know that I am Yahuwah. And it says, as for you, O house of Israel, thus saith Yahuwah, go ye, serve ye every one of his idols hereafter also. If you will not hearken unto me, but pollute ye my holy name no more with your gifts and with your idols, for in my holy mountains, in the mountain of the height of Israel, I'm not going to read all that. Okay, let me read it. For in my holy mountain, in the mountain of the height of Israel, saith Yahuwah, there shall all the house of Israel, all of them in the land, serve me. There will I accept them. Listen to that. All of them in the land serve me. There will I accept them, and there will I require your offerings and the first fruits of your oblations with all your holiness, all your holy things. Okay, but what verse 38 say? I will purge, I will separate out from among you the rebels, and them that transgress against me. That's why the Most High is doing this separation. Because of the people's actions. Sometimes you can't worry about the wicked, because the Most High is going to take care of the wicked. Let us go to Malachi. Let us go to Malachi, the last book of the Old Covenant. Verse 18, 17 and 18. And that's the harder part for us to accept. Malachi, chapter 3, verse 17 and 18. That's the harder part for us to accept from the Most High, is that when we see wicked people, we want to try to help them. But what we should want to try to do is just get away from them. If they're not willing to listen to and take heed to your word, and the Most High word, just separate from them. Because there's no hope. Why? Because they don't see the writing on the wall. You don't have time to try to help somebody who don't want to help themselves. And they shall be mine. Malachi 3, 17, 18. Verse 17. And they shall be mine, saith Yahuwah of hosts, in that day when I will make up my jewels, and I will spare them, as a man spareth his own son that serve him. Listen to that. It says again, in that day when I will make up my jewels, I will spare them as a man spareth his own son that serve him. Then shall ye return and discern between the righteous and the wicked, before him that serves El and him that serves him not. He's saying, you're going to be able to understand the difference between those who serve the Most High and those who don't. And when you understand that, you'll understand that that's the reason for the separation. Daniel chapter 12. Because the separation comes because of the way you think and the way you act. That's what the separation comes about, because the way you think and the way you act. At some point in time, you're going to be like, nah, I don't want to be around that person no more. My daughter and I had this conversation this morning. And she told me, she said, Dad, I was hanging out with this girl and I've been knowing her since high school. She said, because the way she think and act, I ain't letting her come to my house no more. I'm not letting her come to my house no more because she can get me in trouble. And I told her, I said, well, baby, you have the control you have the ability to control the spirits that comes into your house. And that's what my daughter was talking about this morning. You know, understanding people's personalities, understanding their thought process, understanding their spirits, so that you could be able to make sure you can have your house righteous, have your environment good, when you understand the people's spirits. And when you understand their spirits, if it's not for you, you got to separate yourself from them. The Most High is going to do it regardless if you want it or not. Daniel chapter 12 verses 1 through 3. And it reads, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which stand before the children of thy people Israel. And there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. At that time thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book of life. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. Understand that. He's separating the wicked from the righteous right now. Those who believe and those who don't believe. He's separating them. And that's the hard part about reality. Why are he doing it? Let us go to Psalms. Psalms. It's all because of people's actions. What you see that's happening, what you see that's going on in Florida is, man, it's horrific. Mm-hmm. It's horrific. But it's a separation from the wicked and the righteous. Psalm 78 and 52. Wow. 51, 52. And see, the more you read the word, the more you can kind of understand previous stories in the Bible, or previous events in the Bible. Listen to this. And smote all the firstborns in Egypt, and the chief of their strength in the tabernacle of Ham. But made his own people to go forth like sheep, and guide them in the wilderness like a flock. This is talking about when the children of Israel was leaving Egypt. This is talking about when the children of Israel was leaving Egypt. That when the children of Israel was leaving Egypt, it was like a great separation. It was like a great separation from the wicked and the righteous. The Most High was making people leave Egypt because of their idolatry ways and bringing them into the wilderness that is trying to do the right thing. That's what it was about. It was about a great separation from the wicked and the righteous. But a lot of people didn't see it that way. Because Pharaoh, we just look at what Pharaoh was doing to the people. Even though what he was doing was wicked, but he said, I had to separate you from them so that I can deal with you by myself in the wilderness. And see, the Most High got to deal with his people in their wilderness, in their dry place, in their hardships, in order for him to get their attention. Some may not make it, and some will make it. Let us go to Nehemiah. Nehemiah chapter 9 verse 12. Chapter 9 verse 12. Go to 11. Because he's really talking about the separation. He's going to really separate. He's separating the righteous from the wicked because of the actions. And it reads in verse 11, it says in Nehemiah, and thou did divide the sea before them. Talking about children of Israel going through the Red Sea, leaving out of Egypt. So that they went through the midst of the sea on the dry land. And their persecutors thou threwest into the deep, as a stone into the mighty water. Moreover, thou leadest them in the day by a cloudy pillow, and in the night by a pillar of fire, to give them light in the way wherein they should go. The Most High was leading the children of Israel and separating the children of Israel by a cloud during the day and a pillar by night. Why? Because he was trying to separate them from the wickedness of the world. And see, a lot of times people don't want to separate themselves from the wickedness of the world. They want to continue to do what the world do, how the world wanted to be done, and the way the world is, because they're still in that delusional state. They still in Matthew chapter 24. Matthew chapter 24. Where is it at? Verse 48. And if that evil servant shall say in his heart, my Lord delayeth his coming. The delusional state is people are still saying Yahuwah is not on his way. You know, I have to get right. That is hard for people to get rid. That is the hardest part for people. It is a physical and spiritual war. Let us go to Isaiah Last one. Isaiah chapter 63. Chapter 63. Verse 11, 12, and 13. Okay, and it reads, and then he remembered the days of old, Moshe of Moses and his people, saying, where is he that brought them up out of the sea with the shepherds of his flocks? Where is he that put his Holy Spirit within him? He that led them by the right hand of Moses with his glorious arm, dividing the waters before them to make himself an everlasting name, that led them through, listen to this, that led them through the deep as an horse in the wilderness, that they should not stumble. As a beast goeth down into the valley, the Spirit of Yahuwah causes him to rest. So did thou lead thy people to make thyself a glorious name. See, a lot of the times we don't look at the Most High doing the separation. The Most High is doing this and the Most High is doing that. The Most High is doing this and the Most High is doing that. We get mad because we ain't gonna say we get mad, but we just don't understand. And we got to understand, either we will accept and do his will or not. Because either you're going to be on the right hand or the left hand. That's what you got to do, because the great separation is here. You have to see it for what it is. And you got to respect it for what it is. Either you're going to do what you're supposed to do, or you're not going to do what you're supposed to do. Let me read you something. I think this is what I want. It says, therefore the king of Mizraim rose up against them and dealt suddenly with them and brought them low with a laboring in bricks and made them slaves. The Egyptians made the Hebrews slaves. Then they cried unto Elohim, and he smote all the land of Egypt with incurable plagues, so that Egypt cast them out of their sight. See, the Most High forced Egypt to push the children of Israel out. But it was also about the righteous getting away from the wicked. Because what the wicked was oppressing the righteous. So you got to understand that. And sometimes that's what's going on actually in our life, in our environment, in this country. The Most High may be trying to separate you from your people, from other people, because of how they treat you. I would rather go to a black business than a business and they treat me good, where I can spend my money and feel welcome and feel happy, than to go to somebody else who I know that's going to discriminate me and not give me good service and talk about me. If you need to find a nail salon that treats you well, if you can't find one, go to nail tech school and get that skill and that trade and open up your nail salon so that you can create the business and the customer service you want for other people. Whatever you want, go seek it out with the righteous people. Quit dealing with people who do not want to deal with you. Then it says in verse 13, it says, and Elohim dried up the Red Sea before them and brought them to Mount Zion and Kadesh and cast forth all that dwelled in the wilderness. See, the Most High, when he's doing this separation, he's going to bless the righteous more than they could ever imagine. But we got to be willing to go through the separation. So that completes my teachings for today. I hope that you got something from it. I hope the Most High blessed you with it, because the great separation, it's a great separation. Because look how much money PWOs are making off black athletes. University of Alabama in 3 months out the football program makes over $100 million a year. University of Georgia in 3 months makes over $100 million a year. And 75% of the athletes on the Georgia football team is black. Now imagine if you took all those athletes and took them down to Fort Valley or Albany State or Prairie View or Savannah State or Norfolk State or Howard or Grambling or whatever. How can your communities be blessed? Imagine if you start going to Papa Do's and go to another restaurant, that burger spot. How fast that burger spot will grow and blow up. Or This Is It. Or whatever the other restaurants are. How fast they can blow up and grow. Imagine if you took all your money out of those worldwide banks and put them into the small banks. How fast they could grow up and blow up. He's going to separate. It's a separation happening from the wicked from the righteous. So that concludes my teachings for today. I'm done. So let me pray so we can go. Abba, as we come to you today, we thank you, we bless you, we praise you, we give you all the honor and the glory. Abba, we thank you for everything you have done, what you continue to do. Abba, we just thank you for everything you're doing. We thank you for not letting your word go out and come back void. Abba, we just thank you for waking us up this morning with a healthy mind. We're thanking you for the abilities to see, hear, smell, taste, and feel and touch. We thank you for the 5 senses. We thank you for a healthy mind and a body. We thank you for the house that you have given us. We thank you for the clothes that you have given us. We thank you for the car you have given us to drive. And even the money that we spend. We thank you for that, Abba. We just ask that you continue to let your will be done. Abba, we ask that you let us believe that your word is true, so that we can put your word into actions. We know that you will bless the righteous and cast out the wicked. We understand that they have made us to obey the ways of the world, which is contrary to your laws, statutes, and commandments. But Abba, we ask that you prick your people's heart so they can continue to do your will, so they can continue to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments. Abba, we ask that you continue to lead and guide us, hear the way you want us to hear, see the way you want us to see, and speak the way you want us to speak. Abba, we ask that you put a spirit in us of David to be a warrior, Abraham of faith, Esther Ruth of love. We ask that you continue to let us have the wisdom of Solomon. We ask that you give us of us following the words as Yeshua the HaMashiach. We ask that you give us the prophecies of Isaiah, Ezekiel, Jeremiah, Nehemiah, Amos, Joel, Obadiah, Micah, Zechariah, Zephaniah. We ask that you give us the prophecies of them. But we also ask that you give us the heart of your son and your daughters. The faith of Miriam. But Abba, we just ask that you encourage us. Let this not be a red summer where the police continue to brutalize us and kill us in the streets. Let us be able to stand up against the wickedness of the world. And in all these things we pray in your higher name. So let it be. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Y'all have a blessed one.
I know you're trying to do right, but you're surrounded by some people that's evil, and they wanna see your downfall. Cause you're in this truth and they don't care at all. They wanna cause you to stumble, lose your temper, come down to their level. You just really need to move out their way, cause that person being used by the devil. If you wanna live upright on the righteous path, you have to separate yourself from evil and wickedness. Separate yourself from evil and wickedness. And if you wanna seek the Most High and see His salvation and live righteously, separate yourself. Separate yourself from evil and wickedness. Proverbs chapter 2.